All right, so I am sharing my screen. Are you people able to see it?
Yep.
Yep.
All right.
Yes.
So before we start the session, let me introduce myself. All right, and that's all about me. And I am having various domain knowledge as well. Like into software testing, we do have a domain like healthcare, event management, and education system, and banking domain, taxation. So I'm having experience into healthcare, event management, education, and somewhat into mortgage as well. Right. So let's start the session, and please do ask me any kind of queries if you find any. Like if you have any kind of queries, please do stop me and don't hesitate to ask me any kind of question. Let's make it a two-way interaction so that like everyone understand it very well. Like what actually is software testing, what all are the different types of testing, how actually we go ahead with the testing scenarios and all. Right. So I want everyone of you to participate in this session. So today actually we are going to have a demo session. So where we are going to cover few topics. So like these are the topics we are going to cover in today's session, which is like what is testing, what is quality assurance, is there any difference between these two, then is testing require any kind of technical role, or what is difference between product and project, then what is quality analyst and quality control, verification and validation. So we'll try to cover these topics today. So before we go ahead and start the topic, so these are the 5 modules which we are going to cover in this total training session. The very first thing is on introduction to software testing and quality assurance. In module 2, we are going to see software development lifecycle and quality standards. In module 3, we are going to see the different types of testing techniques, and we'll learn about manual testing. And in module 4, we are going to see about the requirement analysis, configuration management, test strategy, and defect lifecycle. And we are also going to cover test planning as well in this particular module. And in module 5, we are going to see the testing tools and automation. And even like we are going to learn about the defect tracking tool and like how actually the defect tracking tool works. And also we are going to cover the basics of SQL. Like I will give you training on like how to write the SQL queries, and like what all are the different type of SQL queries which we can use in testing, for backend testing, for data validation. And also I'll give you basics about QTP, load runner, and very basic about the VB scripting as well. So where like once we are going with automation, we are going to learn about Selenium. So under Selenium we are using VB scripting. So I'll give you a basic about VB scripting as well. So that will be on the further classes. So on today's topic, on today's class, we are going to start with and we are going to have an introduction about like what is testing, what is quality assurance, does testing require any kind of technical role, then what is the difference between project and product. And I'm very much sure like you people are aware of these terms, but only thing like you need some kind of guidance. So like definitely I'll help you out to understand each and every topic. And again, like we are going to learn about quality analyst and quality control and verification and validation. And if time permits, we'll go ahead with bugs, like what is difference between bugs and defects, then what all are the different roles and responsibilities of quality assurance team, then what all are the different career options available in market for test engineers, then testing markets and opportunities. And once we are done with this particular module, we'll be having assignments. Right. So if someone asks like what is software testing, so you can explain them like it's a process or procedure to check the expected behavior of the application should match with the actual behavior, right? So what actually we are doing in testing is like we are having some expected behavior, like we expect something out of that particular application, and once we work on that particular software or application practically, so what is the actual result we are getting, so we are comparing both the things. So that's actually we are doing in software testing. right? And next thing is quality assurance. So quality assurance is nothing but it's a kind of policy which a company is following. So quality assurance is a planned or systematic way to evaluate quality of the process used to produce a quality product. The goal of quality assurance is to provide a product which should meet the customer's expectation, right? So what actually we are doing in quality assurance is we are having some set of policies, right? And we are following that particular policies so as to make sure the product what we are developing is getting met with the customer's expectation. Let's talk about a laptop, right? So you have something in your mind. You are looking for a laptop which should have a keyboard, and on the right hand side of the keyboard it should have a numeric key. The keyboard should have LED lights inbuilt in that, like once you click on any key it should blink. The laptop should have a Dolby stereo, like it should be used as a multi, it's a means you can use it for multitasking, and it should act as a multimedia as well, like where you can play audio at a loud volume, right? So you are expecting something out of one laptop and you are having some kind of rule set. So we are looking for these kind of things. So in quality assurance, I'm getting some kind of noise from back. Thank you. So in quality assurance, what we are doing is we are following certain set of rules, and we are making sure following those rules we are going to create any product, right? So if you visit any company, either a finance company or a manufacturing company, you will see there they are having some kind of policies, right? Quality standard policies. Babin is saying like he's not able to hear. Everyone is able to hear me?
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. So in quality assurance, what I was saying is it's a set of policy which a company follows before developing any product, right? So let's talk about a floor where there is a manufacturing unit, right? If you visit any manufacturing unit, they will be having a rule like you need to wear helmet, you need to wear boots, and you should always be in full sleeves. You should not wear t-shirt or linen clothes, right? Why they are doing this is like they are having some kind of quality standard. So once you enter any manufacturing unit, this is for your safety. You like once you visit into any manufacturing unit, you should not get impacted by the processes which is happening inside a manufacturing unit, right? So for your safety purpose only, they ask you to wear helmet or boots or gloves, right? If you see any apartment as well, like if you see any house construction, so there they are having a rule like you need to wear helmet, you need to have a boot with high neck where like you should not get stuck somewhere, right? So those are some kind of policies. So same way for software testing also, we have a kind of policy. That particular policy is known as quality assurance. So we are following some set of rules so as to make sure whenever we are developing any product, we are following that particular policy, right? Anyone is having any query? No, please don't hesitate to ask anything. Like if you have any kind of silly questions also, that is very much welcome to me. I'll be very happy to help as well, and that will be a kind of learning curve for me as well. So I want everyone to participate in this.
Yeah. Rajesh, I have a question. Actually, I feel both of the concepts are overlapping one and each other. Please differentiate them. I mean, what is the difference between both of them?
Right. So in software testing, we are doing execution, like where we are doing some kind of exercise, right? So here we are, let's say, let's talk about again a manufacturing unit, right? So let's say you are working in a car manufacturing unit, right? And in car manufacturing unit, while developing a car, you should follow certain policies, right? Very first thing, you need to wear helmet, you need to wear jacket, you need to wear boots, you need to wear gloves, right? So these are the policies you are following, right? So this is known as quality assurance. And testing is in the sense like once the tire is developed, so you are checking the radius of the tire, you are trying to run the vehicle, you are trying to fit that particular tire into vehicle, and you are testing the tire while applying the brake, whether the tires are getting whether the vehicle is getting stopped or not. You are checking the grip of the tires, you are checking the quality of the rubber of the tire, the quality of the rubber is good or not, whether it's skid proof or not, right? So here in testing, you are checking the quality of the tire, like you are working on the tire, you are checking the actual behavior of the tire, right? While in quality assurance, you are following some kind of policies which while you are manufacturing a tire.
Got it.
So software testing is usually done like once the product is developed, is what you mean, right?
Right, and quality assurance is which is done before the product is developed and after the product is also developed, but not during the product development.
Okay.
So I have a question. So after the after the product done, development team done, then the software testing team's work start, right?
Right.
And after that, if something goes wrong, then that product goes back to development team, right?
Right, that's correct.
Okay. Okay, got it.
So in software testing, what we are doing, we are executing the code. We are executing. Let's say if I give you a laptop, so you want to check whether the laptop performance is good or not. Are you able to open any kind of software or not? Whether you can install any software, whether you can open a browser. So that you are actually doing a testing, right, on the laptop. Whether the expected behavior, like what is expected from the laptop, is working fine or not. But when a laptop is getting manufactured, like once they are assembling the laptop, once they are building the keyboard, once they are manufacturing the the screen of the laptop, once they are integrating it, so those particular processes are coming under quality assurance. So they are making sure like they are following certain set of rules while manufacturing this laptop, right? And even as I said, like quality assurance is done before the product is developed and after the product is developed as well, right? So in software testing, you have tested your laptop is working fine, and probably you might have find some kind of defect on your laptop, right? Once you are trying to click on space bar, the keyboard was not responding, so that was a defect on your laptop, and so you have given this particular defect to the developer. So developer has worked on that and they have fixed this particular issue. Now you are able to work on the space bar. So once you click on space, the laptop is responding, the space bar is responding. So after the product is developed, once the testing is done and you are very much assured like your laptop is working fine, again the quality assurance comes into play. So you are making sure the issue what you have faced during the testing phase should not occur again once it is out into the market.
Thank you.
Making sense for everyone?
Yeah.
Right. So my next question is like, is testing require any kind of technical role? So can anyone tell me like, does it really require any kind of technical role? Because most of you are from non-IT background, and even I have given you my example as well. Like I am from a mechanical background, but still I am into testing. Right? So it's very easy to.
It sounds like it's a lot more common sense.
Sorry?
I said it sounds like it's a lot more common sense. Like as long as you understand what it's supposed to do, you should have an idea about how to test around it to get it to where it should be.
Right. So that's the thing. So actually testing, it does not require any kind of technical knowledge. Only thing is like you should have some kind of you should know your main focus should be on the planning, performing the functional testing of the application. So once you are very much sure about the expected behavior of any application, you can start testing on that particular application, right? So as I have asked in the beginning of the session only, like what do you understand by testing? And I have asked you the very basic question, like either if you know like whether you know how to prepare tea or coffee, or about the foundation as well, right? So that doesn't require any kind of technical stuff for testing anything, right? So for into IT also, the testing does not require any kind of technical knowledge. Only thing required from your end is, or any fresher or anyone who want to jump into IT as a software testing engineer, they should have few qualities in them. Very first thing, they should have a very good communication skill. Next thing, technical skill. Technical here doesn't mean like I'm talking about pure technical where you should have a good coding knowledge, but here I mean to say like you should know how to use laptop, how to use your Excel sheet or MS Word package, right? And how to go ahead, like in case you find any issue, so how to escalate on it, how to work upon that, right? Next thing is leadership qualities. Leadership qualities in the sense you should take the ownership of any product what you are testing, right? So let's say if I have given you a Facebook page or Facebook application to test, right? So you should take the ownership. You should know like what actually is the functionality of Facebook application, how actually it should work, right? So you should take the ownership if in case you find any kind of issue on that application, to how to work upon that, like whether you need to escalate it to the next level, or whether you need to report it to the concerned developers, right? So you should take the ownership of it. And next thing is the analytical and judgmental skill. So where I am saying like you should be having a very good judgmental skill. Like if in case you find any kind of issue or anything which is not relevant to the application, so you should be able to justify, you should be able to judge whether that is actually a expected behavior from application or whether it's a defect on an application, right? Another thing, like I have asked, another skill set which is expected from a test engineer is they should think out of the box, and they should have a very good domain knowledge as well, right? So as I said, like if you are going into banking company, right? So let's say if you are preparing for a bank, so you should have a very good knowledge of banking domain, right? If you are joining any hospital, let's say someone wants to join as an admin into hospital, right? So they should be aware of like what actually are the roles and responsibilities of an admin into hospital, right? So same way in IT also, once you are getting into IT as a software test engineer, you should be aware of the different domains. Like let's talk about healthcare domain. In healthcare, you might have heard or you might have used the appointment system. Did anyone use appointment system for booking an appointment with any physicians? Anyone in the
Yep.
batch? Right? So can you explain me like how actually that works? Means how actually do you book an appointment with a physician?
I mean, we go to the app and make an appointment with, and we have to select the doctor whom I want to, take an appointment.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then the next page is for the timings, and
Right.
then then you have to
Right.
select the timing. Yeah.
Right. So here actually what you are doing is very first thing you are selecting the physician based upon your requirement. So if you are having some issue with your skin, you will consult a dermatologist, right? So if in case you are having some problem with bone, you will go to orthopedic doctor, right? So very first thing you are selecting the specialist, then you are selecting a physician, then after that you are selecting that particular date, whether that physician is available on that particular day or not, right? And once you have selected the date, then you are looking for the time slot, right? So if you are comfortable by 7 a.m. EST or 8 p.m. IST, whatever may be the time, right? So you are checking whether the physician is available at that particular point of time or not, right? So once you see like the physician is available, then you will click on book an appointment, so where you will get a confirmation message like your appointment has been fixed, right? So this is how you are aware of the appointment system. So that actually belongs to a healthcare domain. So you are very much aware of one vertical, means one basic module of a healthcare domain, right? So same way in banking domain as well, right? So I suppose most of you are having internet banking or ATM card or what you say credit card with you, right? and you people are aware of it, right? How to use a credit card, or how to use a debit card, or how to use your internet banking, right? And what actually is the expected behavior once you are using internet banking, once you log in into internet banking, once you click on fund transfer, so how actually the fund transfer works, right? So that is how a domain knowledge comes into play. So that is what I was saying, like a tester should have a very good domain knowledge as well. He or she should have a very good understanding of the domain on which they are working upon. So as a fresher, once you join any organization, so organization, they are not expecting like the person who is joining in as a fresher should have a very good technical skill, or should have a very good domain knowledge, or he or she should know any kind of coding, right? So only expectation is like you should have a very good communication skill, like because you are going to communicate with the stakeholders or the product owner, right? Next thing is like you know how to use your laptop, you know how to use MS Word package, you should have a good judgmental skill, and you should have a basic knowledge of any kind of domain. Any questions in this?
No.
Right?
No.
So once you are qualified with these kind of experience, next thing, once you join the organization, so means anyways we are going to give you training on this as well, but once you join the organization, so they will have some certain set of rules, like where they want you to write the test case, they will ask you to understand the architecture of the application, or they want to have the database validation, so where they will give you training on that as well, right? So in this in software testing also, so what is expected from a tester is like they should know how to write a test cases, right? In the beginning only, how to write a test case. They should, like once they join the organization, they should and the actual expectation from the software trainer and software testing engineer is like they should understand the actual architecture of the application, like how actually is the application working, how actually is the application built, what is, like once you click on anything, where actually the application is getting diverted, right? So the routes, like the what all routes the application is going through, so the tester should be aware of each and everything of that application. I'm sure like every one of you have used Facebook, right? Anyone here who is not aware of Facebook?
No.
Right? So everyone is aware of Facebook. So let's say if you open a Facebook page, and let's say on the laptop only, if you open a Facebook page, let's say on the URL you have written www.facebook.com and you hit enter. So what is the very first thing you will see on Facebook page?
The home page. Home page where you ask you to log in.
Right? So either you will see logins, means you will see a login screen where you will get two options, either to log in or to register with Facebook, right? Right? So what will happen if you... Yeah, please go ahead. Anyone was saying something?
Yeah, or if you're already signed in, it just probably brings you right to your page.
Right. So that actually is expected thing, right? So here you are having some kind of judgmental skill, like you know, like if the user is already logged in, if you open the browser, it will directly go to their wall because he's already logged in, right? So this is how the architecture of the application also plays a role. So if you are already logged in, if you open a browser and write facebook.com directly, because you are logged in, it will directly go to your wall. If in case you are not logged in, then it will open a page where it will ask you to enter the username and password, or if you are a very much a new user, it will ask, you will get an option to register yourself, right? So here you are very much aware of the architecture of the Facebook application. So that is how, like, because you are aware of that Facebook application, you have used that particular application, so you are aware of the architecture, right? So same way, once you join any organization, so that project management team or your team leaders, they will introduce you to the product and they will explain you like this is how an application works. So as a tester, you should be very much aware of the architecture of the application, right? So what I have told is, let's summarize it. Very first thing is like testing does not require any technical role. Only thing it requires is Like the tester should have a good communication skill, good technical skill, leadership qualities, judgmental skill. He or she should have a good domain knowledge, and next thing is to write the test cases, and last thing, he or she should be aware of the architecture of the application, like how actually the application behaves. Right? Any question in this?
Nope.
Anyone? Any kind of question?
No. No.
No.
Right? So testing basically does not require any technical knowledge. That's what I wanted to say over here. Any question from anyone?
No.
Right. Next we'll see. Actually, there are two types of companies, or organizations. One is product-based company, and one is service-based company. So service-based company, generally they go for projects, and product-based company, they go for a product. So before we explain this thing, let me just ask you people one question so that it will give you more clarity. Can you give me one product name into IT? Any product?
I'm sorry, what?
Can you name any product into software field?
Alien?
Sorry?
Alien?
Okay. Anyone else?
Switchboard, automatically switchboard so that we can get access from the phone. That is a product, I guess. The Lutron, I'm talking about Lutron switches. So you can just low the light and up the light.
No, into IT. Let's talk about software product. And I am very much sure every one of you are using it. The only thing like you are not able to recollect. So that's why I just wanted to have a brainstorm.
Facebook,
Any kind of app?
Facebook, okay. Sorry?
Can it also be any kind of app?
iPhone?
Okay.
Like a Just Dial app, or or any app, or maybe a bookmaster app.
Okay.
Might be, excuse me.
ATM card.
Okay. Any more, please?
Yeah, empower to
Might be
earn money.
Okay, one by one, please. Ladies first. All right, go ahead.
Empower to earn money.
Okay. It's a very basic tool. I'm asking, like you people are using it on day-to-day basis. Even I am using it now. You are seeing this thing. That product.
Laptop.
Okay.
iPhone.
Okay.
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 But iPhone is not a software, right? I'm talking about a software.
Yeah, like we are using a browser, like a Mozilla.
Okay, that's okay. Shall I say the example? Like it will become more clear for you.
Yep.
Currently, I'm presenting PowerPoint deck, right?
Yeah.
So PowerPoint is made on Microsoft. So Microsoft package is a product, right?
Okay.
Because this product is widely used by everyone in this either on organization level or by personal people as well, right? So Microsoft Word or Microsoft PowerPoint, that is known as a product.
Hi, this is Julian from Houston.
Yeah, right. So it is used in system. That's what I'm saying, like about the software. So Microsoft is Microsoft Word. So I am just giving an example of Microsoft Word, right? So Microsoft Word is a product which is not specified to any one user. It is specified to multiple customers, right? So that's what I have mentioned here. Product is developed based on the company specification for a multiple customers, right? So multiple users can use that particular thing. right? So word is an product. So once it comes into a project, so as I have asked about the appointment system, right? So because you have used the appointment system, which is used only for that particular company only, right? If you go to another hospital and if you look for appointment system, they won't have the same appointment system. So project is actually, it's a customized, customized product, which is developed on the basis of a customer requirement, right? So if you see the difference between product and project is, product is open for everyone. It is developed on the basis of company specification and it can have a multiple users. While a project, it is developed on the basis of customer requirement, right? So Facebook is a product. Alright, let's talk about the project.
Whoever is making the noise, can you just mute it?
Yeah.
For that, yeah.
Okay,
No,
let me just
because
check.
yeah.
I'm not sure.
Why aren't you on the video? What is wrong, man?
I mean, whosoever is making the noise, can I just put this phone on the mute so that we can hear what are you saying?
Yes, please, because we are getting distracted.
So much noise. Yeah.
Yeah, kindly, I request every one of you to mute better. So like once you are having any kind of question, you can unmute and ask me.
You can just, yeah. Yeah, that would be good.
Alright. So I want everyone to mute first.
And Rajesh, can you please explain to me that what is the difference between the project and the product, because I was not able to hear that.
Yeah, I'll explain again. Alright, so what I was saying is a product is developed which can be used by multiple customers, right? Where a project is something which is still I can hear the sound. Alright, and project is something which is specified to a particular customer, right? So as I gave you one example, right, where Microsoft Word, which is a product which can be extensively used by everyone across the globe. Okay. You will get a mic option, like you will see a mic icon on this particular link. So once you click on that particular mic,
can you hear me?
Mute.
Say it.
Hello?
Yeah, I can hear you. What I was saying is,
Mute.
How do you mute?
You will get an option as microphone. Once you click on that, it will mute.
Hey, एक सेकंड. मेरे वो व्हाइट वाले किधर हैं? बेटे, व्हाइट वाले. एक सेकंड.
No, that's fine. I know like this is a very new software you people are using, so that is expected. That's fine. Take your time, please.
Okay. Rajesh, please, 1 minute. Wait, please.
Yeah. Yes. Please go ahead. That's fine.
इसको लगाओगे? ये लगाएं. Can you hear me now?
Hello?
Yep.
आप पूछें.
Hello?
Yes, still I can hear.
जब म्यूट करना उसको प्रेस करते हैं तो म्यूट हो जाएगा.
Hello?
Yeah.
Rajesh, are you listening me?
Yeah, I can hear.
Yes.
Oh, it means I'm not mute.
Okay. Can you hear me now?
Hello?
Yes, still I can hear. You will get a microphone option. Like once you click on that
microphone option.
Where are the microphone options?
Where is the microphone option?
It is your left hand side, please.
Oh, I got it. I got it.
All right.
Yeah, I suppose she is.
I think you can go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So product is something which can be used by multiple customer, right? Whereas project is something which is used by a specific customer. So as I was giving you example of Microsoft Word, so Word can be used by multiple user across the globe, right? But when it comes to a project, so probably like I was asking about appointment systems from one of my candidate in this training, right? So where she has told like how to book an appointment. So probably that particular appointment system works for only that particular hospital and in that particular region only, right? So let's say if you are in Canada and you are using appointment system for any hospital in Canada, right? So I can't use that particular software in India, right? Because that application is meant only for the physicians which are available in Canada. So that is specified to that particular hospital. So that is why it is called as a project, right? So let me give another example. So where let's take a practical example. In project and product. All right, so let's talk about a vehicle, right? Let's talk about a vehicle where you are if you see a vehicle like four-wheeler vehicle, right? So in India you will find a different kind of vehicle, but in US I suppose that is not a right example. Okay, another example can be, let's talk about Java or .NET, right? So Java and .NET, that is actually a product, right? And once you customize the Java or .NET, right? So let's say you are developing Facebook application, right? So Facebook application is generally developed in PHP. So PHP is actually a product, and using PHP to develop any application, either Facebook or your YouTube, so that is actually known as a project because you are customizing a product to make a project.
What is the Java?
Java is a language actually. Java, .NET, PHP, C#, C, those are the languages which are used for coding. Am I making sense, or do you want me to explain once more?
Yeah, actually, I didn't get that example because we don't know about the Java and the PHP.
No, Java, like I gave you just example. Java
that's a language which you code for development, right? That
right.
You understand. So you mean the project is the product? I mean the product is Java or a project?
Right. Product is Java, but using Java, if you are making some websites, so that is actually called as a project.
Okay, got it. Makes sense.
So let me give you one example. Like the project means it is developed for a particular client only. For example, what the companies like Wipro, Capgemini, they produce, and that particular terms are known as projects, right? But at the same time, product means which is developed for multiple clients, means Microsoft products, right? So they are having .NET, they are having Microsoft Word. So those things are known as products. So these products can be used by multiple clients to customize them. So that is known as a project, right? So how can I give you another example is?
Rajesh, can you give an example? Maybe you can tell me if I'm right or not.
Yep, go ahead.
So, like when I was working with GE, so we used to have an internal portal where we could actually apply for leave. So that was just specific to the GE employees. So can it
that
be
is
a project because it is just specific to us where we can book our leaves and submit it to our manager.
That's correct. That's very much correct.
Product could probably be the GE website, which is open for all the shareholders and all the other people who are just looking for general information about GE. So
right, which is open to multiple users.
Yes.
That's correct. That's perfect example.
Okay.
Right. How about others? Still confused or how it is?
No, I got it.
Right. So for project, actually what happens is, for project, the end user is only one, while for a product, the end user is multiple customers. Clear on this?
Yes.
Yeah.
Right. So in project life cycle, if you see the project life cycle, they are having 5 stages. One is initiation, next is planning, then execution, monitoring and control, and closing. While in product life cycle, we are having 4 different stages. Right. First thing is market introduction, then market growth, market maturity, and decline. So here in project, what actually we are doing is, very first thing, initiation. So we are first planning what kind of project we are going to develop. Then we are having a first thing, we are initiating the project, right? Like we'll gather all the informations, what all things are required to accomplish or to complete that particular project. Next comes the planning. So here in planning, we are deciding like who all can be the members involved, what kind of language we are going to use, what all can be the resources involved in this, what should be the roles and responsibilities of resources, right? So once the planning is done, then we are doing executing in a sense, we are doing coding and testing on that particular project. So once we are done with that, we are deploying or we are installing that particular project into the live server. So once we are deployed or installed the project into live server, we are having monitoring and control. So we are doing a kind of maintenance. So we are making sure the project what we have deployed on live server or installed on a live server for any organization is working fine or not. So once we are satisfied the project is working fine, then we are closing the project, right? So when it comes to the product, very first thing what we are doing is, once the product is developed, we are doing a market introduction. Through marketing, we are introducing a product, right? Then comes the market growth. So where we are looking for, like, the product is getting expanded, like it's getting widely used by all the persons. Then the market maturity. So we are looking for the maturity, the stability of the product. So once we are satisfied the product is stable into the market, then we'll close the product life cycle. So let me just give you example of product life cycle is what can I say? Word I have already given you example. Let's talk about a vehicle, 4-wheeler vehicle. Let's say Ford, they are coming up with one SUV model, right? Let's say they are coming with a SUV model, and very first thing what they will do is they will advertise, they will do marketing into the market, like they are coming up with these features where people can find 8-seater on that vehicle. It is having some very high horsepower engine, and it is having a very good braking system. It is having an auto light, like once there is a darkness the light will automatically glow, right? So that is how they are doing a marketing of their product. So after the marketing is done, they are expanding their market, right? So they are trying to sell their product across the globe, not only in one part of globe but across the globe. So once their market is growth, then they are looking for maturity, like they are looking for stability, like the product what they have developed, the SUV what they have developed is used by multiple user across the globe. So once they are satisfied, right, this vehicle is hit, then they will close that product life cycle. Then they will go ahead with the next level of vehicles, like they will come up with a new product or new ideas, right? So this is actually not very much required for a test engineer to understand, but just for an introduction and for your information, I am explaining you like what actually is the difference between project and a product. Any questions from anyone? Any kind of query?
No.
No.
All right. So we'll move on ahead to the next topic, which is quality assurance and quality control. So quality assurance, as I have already told you, like it's a set of policy which a company need to follow, right? So if you see the definition here, like for quality assurance, I have mentioned like the function of a software quality that assures that the standards, procedures, and the process are appropriate for the project and are correctly implemented. So in quality assurance, we are making sure the policies which has been defined for that particular project or a product or an organization, they are following that particular procedures. While quality control, it's a set of activities for ensuring the quality of the product, right? So the goal of quality control is to identify the defects after the product is developed and before it is released. So in quality control, we are doing the actual testing of the application, right? While in quality assurance, we are following the policies which the company has built. So any trouble in understanding this? Quality assurance and quality control. Assurance means policy which a company need to follow to develop any product, while quality control is to test the application. Like here we are testing the application, we are checking the quality of the application, and we are finding the defect. So if you see a diagram over here, I have mentioned the difference between quality control and quality assurance. Quality control deals with the product, while quality assurance, it's a process, right? Quality control is reactive, while quality assurance is proactive. Quality control is a line of action. So where actually we are executing the code, we are testing an application, we are testing a product to find the defects, right? While quality assurance is a staff function, right? So how actually the staff is behaving. So like what I have told you in manufacturing unit, like how actually a person should dress once they are getting into the manufacturing unit, or once they are getting into a company where there is a manufacturing unit. And in quality assurance, like we are coming up with the rules which defines like how to prevent that defect, right? So let's talk about a manufacturing unit. So once you are entering into a, let's say, a rubber manufacturing unit, as I have told you, right? So there we are dealing like what all should be the uniform a person should wear before entering into a manufacturing unit, right? So we are dealing with those things. We are dealing with the proactiveness, like how actually a person should be dressed. Then the staff function, how actually they should enter, how actually they should behave inside a company, right? Next thing is the preventing, like so if in case you are well dressed, if you are following the policy, definitely you are not going to meet any accident, right? So here that's what we are mean here, like to it's used to prevent a defect. So quality control is actually an action we are doing a testing of the application, while in quality assurance we are trying to prevent a defect by following certain set of policies. Am I making sense?
Yes.
Yep. I have a question.
Yeah, please go ahead.
So as a software tester, which one is our job? Like the quality control or quality assurance, or both of them?
It's actually both a term. As a fresher, like once you enter any company, for you it will be quality control. Why? Because you are testing a product. Quality assurance is done by your seniors, either your manager or your leads. So where they are making sure you are following some set of policies. But as a software tester, you should follow quality control. So because you are testing the application, you are testing and executing the test cases.
Got it. Thank you.
So
anyone is having any kind of please ask. Yeah.
So you said the quality insurance which the company gave us, right? So
right.
So from that set of rules, we have to follow those things and to make sure that whatever we are testing goes smooth, right?
Right. That's
so we have to think from the quality insurance perspective or a quality control perspective.
We have to think quality assurance perspective, and quality control is like what exercise we are doing on daily basis. So we are testing an application, right? So while testing an application, what all policies we need to follow, right? So let's say your company has said you need to use one particular tool. While you find a defect, you need to upload that particular defect on Jira. Let's say Jira is a bug tracking tool, right? So your company has defined you need to use Jira. If you find any defect, you need to use Jira in case you want to put any kind of new enhancement from the client end, right? So in quality assurance, we have defined we are going to use a tool called Jira, right? But when it comes to the quality control, so whenever we are testing a product, whenever we are testing any application which is developed by the developer or by a company, so actually we are testing an application, and in case if we find any defect, so we will log it into Jira. Why we are logging it into Jira? Because company has given a policy we need to use that particular tool only, right? So that is why I'm saying like assurance, in assurance we are having set of policy, while in quality control we are doing a line of function, like we are doing a execution, we are doing the actual testing of the application.
Okay. Got it.
Quality assurance is a policy, we are following that policy, and quality control is the execution, we are following, we are working on that action.
Okay, got it.
Anyone, any more? Please ask me, like if in case you are still having any doubt in understanding quality assurance and quality control.
No.
No, I'm fine.
All right. So next thing is verification and validation. So again, it is same like as I have given you example in quality control and quality assurance. Same way, verification and validation is also a kind of same thing. So can anyone tell me, like, can anyone explain me, like, if you can find any kind of difference between these two terms, verification and validation? What do you understand by verifying anything, and what do you mean by validating anything?
I guess verify is to see of like what's it, to confirm a problem or to show it, and validating is to get credit for it or something along those lines.
Okay. Yeah, well tried. Anyone else?
Another example, like we have any ID of any country which will belong. On ID we verify we have this ID and whatever, and how much time it was. This is validation.
Okay, that's fine.
Hello.
Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah.
Hi. Hi. I think you're talking mainly the two completely different aspects. The verification typically is a very manual checking or review or step-by-step process that a human can do for verify that all the aspect of a specification and requirement is met by manual process. But validation is, when you say validate, that means you have to have a test, and the test method and the test software has to be standardized. So that's the
good.
main thing, the validation. You have to have a test method, and the testing process that using the software is to be accepted.
That's perfect. That's perfect. Any particular example? Can anyone give me one very practical example?
Like verification, as in, if you see an example of a passport, right? When you apply for a passport, so that you need to submit certain kind of documents. You need to follow a certain rule and a certain set of procedures, getting all the documents in place. So it's like a kind of verification, but validation, as in, once you get the passport, you're submitting it to a particular office, like you're submitting it to a particular immigration officer, and he checks if the passport is valid or not. So, in that way.
All right.
Okay, I'm giving you one example. Like typically any design, typically any engineering design, or so-called any kind of product design. Typically, when you follow a empirical formula or empirical or some certain procedure of design, then you are doing a design based on your theory or some procedures, but that doesn't mean that that product is validated. So once you get a validation, so the validations means that there are some product already or testing method that's already the engineering testing method. Let's say it could be you could say there is automations something you demonstrated that all the steps in a very in a software by a software that showing everything what is designed that is tested and corrected. It's not a design based on somebody's idea or some step-by-step procedure or formula. That's a kind of old method, I would say, that something when product design before, when basically I'm talking an engineering product that it's used it before it didn't have a validation unless it's tested. It was verified by a lot of, like you say, is hypothetical process, but it doesn't test it. It doesn't validate it.
That's correct. That's very much correct. How about others? Can I get input from others as well? So that even like it will make you understand about this particular topic. Anyways, I'll explain you, but still I want everyone's input, everyone's involvement in this. Anyone?
So what I'm getting is verification is just checking for specifications, and validation is proving the specifications are working according to how it's supposed to work.
Yeah, even that is fine.
Like as per my knowledge, like
it's very simple example. Like the difference is like when somebody validated, that means a verifier. Let's say somebody reviews something and somebody verify, and he verify based on some steps of very sequential steps that the product is good, but he doesn't. That may not be 100% correct. That may not be that may not be correct. That may not be flawless. But when something is validated, that means that validation has been tested by a software, and that method has been already approved with third party.
Perfect. That's very good. So let me just give you one example. Probably it will make you more clear on verification and validation. Let's talk about a bicycle, right? So on a bicycle, what all the things you will verify? You will verify it is having handle or not, it is having brakes or not, it is having seat or not. Then you will check for the probably the bell, if in case you want any kind of bell installed on bicycle, right? Then you will check the rims, then you will check the chain and gears on your bicycle, right? So here you are verifying the all the parts and all the components on the bicycles are there or not. And validation is like once you start riding the bicycle, once you start driving the bicycle, you are checking once you are pedaling the bicycle whether the chains are working fine or not. Once you apply brake, the bicycle stops or not. Once you ring the bell, whether the bell is making any kind of sound or not, right? So here in validation you are executing, you are actually running that particular bicycle to check the bicycle function is working fine or not, right? But in verification you are making sure all the components of the bicycles are there or not. Making sense?
Yep. Got it.
How about others? Verification and validation, does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yep.
Very simple example.
But however, validation will not talk about the end result, right? I mean, like you said that for, like you give the bicycle example that you're going to ride the bicycle and check if everything is good. But however, it doesn't talk about the end result, right? Whether you're giving it a yes or a no. I mean, it's just that you're testing.
It's talking about the end result as well, right? What is expected from a brake? So once you apply a brake, the cycle should stop, right? So that is the end result. That is the actual functional result you are expecting, right? So in validation, we are talking about the end result only, the functional end result. So what actually is expected from a bicycle? Once you pedal, it should move, right? Once you apply brake, it should stop. So in validation, you are checking the same thing. But verification is you are making sure all the components are there or not. Making sense or got confused?
Is it the same as quality control and quality assurance?
That's what I'm saying. In quality control, we are testing the application, right?
Yeah.
Same thing in validation also, we are testing the application. We are testing the functional prospect of the application. And while verification, in verification, we are making sure all the components are there or not, right? So in project perspective, so verification is a static process of verifying documents, design documents, codes and programs. So what all codes has been written. So here we are not executing anything. So here if you see the in definition I mentioned, it does not involve any code execution. It's a human based checking of documents and files. So verifying using method like inspections, reviewing, walkthrough and disk checkings, right? So we are just making sure, we are inspecting the things, we are making sure all the components are there or not. While in validation, we are doing the actual testing of the product. So here we are executing the code. We are checking the functional prospect of the application, whether it is working fine or not. Making sense? Am I clear or did I misguide it or confuse you people?
No, got it. Got it.
How about others?
Yeah.
Yes, got it.
Okay. So in this diagram, I have shown like what is verification and what is validation. So if you see in verification, what we are verifying is we are checking whether the design, the low level design is there or not, the high level design it is there or not, the software requirement analysis. Like these are the documents which we generally, like on your left hand side, like these are the documents which we generally get from the client. So we are verifying whether these documents we have got from the client or not, right? So on the basis of these documents, we are verifying our code, like we are verifying the product which is developed by developer. So whether the product is specific to the business requirement, software requirement, high level design or low level design. While in validation, we are doing different type of testing so as to make sure the application functional prospect is working fine. So here we are doing a unit testing, then we'll go to the integration, then system, then the acceptance testing, right? So in verification, we are doing a walkthrough on the application so as to make sure everything is present on the application which is developed as per the requirement by the client. Requirement in the sense the business, the functional requirement which is given by the client, the software, let's say the client, they have asked like they want an application which should be developed in .NET, right? So you are just making sure the code what is developed, it is developed in .NET language, not in Java language or any other language, right? So in verification, you are checking those components. While in validation, you are checking the function of the application. The functionality of the application is working fine as per the client's requirement. Right, so I have explained the same thing via a diagram of how actually the verification looks like and how actually the validation looks like. From anyone?
That's it.
That's it, I guess.
All right, thank you. So we'll connect again
bye.
on Wednesday, same time.
Yeah, okay. Bye.